How you feel about that, Denver Broncos, as you win in the preseason? But Bo Nix looks good, and let's talk about it. It is Postgame Live, Denver Sports. I am Cecil Lammey here, and I'm happy. I'm happy with what the Broncos were able to show out there on the football field and getting that win over the Colts. We're going to go through the numbers. We're going to go through the, first set of tape with this team. And really, the conversation is going to be about Bo Nix winning the job. Did Bo Nix just win the job like right now? Week 1 of the preseason? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I feel like he did. We could extend this to, what's he going to look like on Friday in the joint practice with the Green Bay Packers. That's fair if you want to see that, if you want to see what else he could do in a joint practice situation. And I think that would be fair, but I also think he just won the job. Like, stop messing around. I'm already a minute and a half in and I want to cuss, but stop messing around. It's Bo Nix. Okay, stop. Enough. It's Bo Nix. He should be your starter. You could say wait till Friday, but is Bo Nix really going to crap the bed on Friday? I don't think so. Is he going to wet the bed in the Packers game in the preseason? Yeah, I don't think so. So why can't it just be Bo Nix right now? And just make him the starter, and then let's go Broncos. And then go get those 9 games, and then prove the doubters wrong, and then start this thing. Bo Nix in 2024 will make Bo Nix in 2025 better. I've said it once. I've said it a million times. That's what it's going to be. So if you have Bo Nix playing more this year because he won the job coming out of training camp, I mean, he clearly, and I don't, the Stidham interception, that's not on him. It's on Samaje Perine, who will just give him the nickname Cut now, with his bobbled pass that was intercepted. That's not on Stidham at all, but you see everything that we've been talking about in camp, which is good because then it makes you go, I guess I'm not crazy watching practice. And then it gets you excited about Bo Nix and what he can be, what he should be for the Denver Broncos. And that's what I like about this game, is you got confirmation, basically, of what you saw. It's coming to the field. And it doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. There were plenty of throws off his back foot. I thought protection issues were a thing, so that could have been better. But with Bo Nix, he looked comfortable. He looked calm under pressure. He led the team on scoring drives. That's pretty much all he did. And yeah, we could get greedy and say more touchdowns, but he worked through negative plays. He worked through positive plays. He gained confidence. He got hit. He got rushed. He ran. There was a designed run for Bo Nix. All of these things lead me to say, yeah, Bo Nix is the guy week 1. That's week 1. There's no other even subject, I think, that's worthy of talking about with Stidham. David says in the chat room, Stiddy's pick wasn't on him. And faster than I thought. Yeah, Jonas Griffith has talked about that this week, this past week, of Jonah, hey, he's a little faster than you thought. And Jonas Griffith is a freak linebacker. So pro guys saying he's fast, fans saying he's fast because Bo Nix can get out and scoot. He's got some wheels. Now on the day, this is a Bo Nix show. 3 carries, 17 yards, long run of 11. Bo Nix, 15 to 21, 125 yards, 1 touchdown, no INTs, passer rating of 102.3. And I guess maybe I should have started with this, but I'll bring it up here 4.5 minutes in. Y'all got to stop with this is just preseason. We all know that. Nobody is giving him a gold jacket. Nobody is saying he's the best ever. He's going to be the best of these quarterbacks, which he could be, but nobody's saying that right now. We're excited about one game. So on Twitter, which I regularly don't pay attention to because it's the realm of the lowest common denominator, whenever I see people say, oh, well, this is just preseason. Yeah, I mean, if he sucked, would you say that as well? Or would you be taking victory laps because he threw 3 picks or looked like Drew Lock or whatever? Like, Drew did not look good for the Giants this week. And I'm sorry to say that. I like Drew, I like his family, but he didn't look good. Bo Nix looked good. So again, we're either going to talk about stuff or we're just going to cover our eyes to the regular season. Well, I'm going to vote by talking about stuff. So before I get anyone in the chat room like, it's just preseason. Yes, we know that. But when a guy in his first pro game, and I think just being around Bo every day, I think there were a little bit of nerves. Perhaps he'll talk about that in the locker room after the game. We'll see if Mace can jump on from Indy. He's got stuff to do, so we'll see. I'll go about an hour here tonight taking your questions in the chat room. But with Bo Nix, like, I felt there was some nervousness about him to begin this contest, and then that calmed down, and then it went away, and then the sharp play came out, and he still was, aggressive with the football. For people saying the dink and dunk stuff, like, there's just so many misconceptions. Let the kid play. Let the kid flourish, because the fit with Sean Payton is there. You see it. And it's just the preseason. This is a fourth of the plays that we've seen at training camp. Like, this isn't even anything of what you've seen, because of course Sean Payton's not going to show all that. But you did see some glimpses on the Bo Nix designed run, these sorts of things. Sale concepts are back. I saw fans on Twitter saying, like, well, it's so good to have an offense that's ran on time. Yeah, it is. Why do you think Sean Payton was so frustrated? By the way, 0 sacks. The pressure was there. Obviously, Bo Nix did take some hits, which you're, concerned about. Looks like the Colts had 4 quarterback hits in total. So Nix was out there, had some pressure on him, but didn't wet the bed. Didn't look like the stage was too big. Like, looked really good. It was a big positive for this team to see Bo Nix look like that and throw 21 passes. I didn't think going into this game that he would throw 21 passes. I thought he'd throw more like 15, kind of like Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson was 10 of 13 for 117. I know, fifth stringers, whatever. Like, I think the whole preseason, tearing guys down for preseason performances when they're good is just stupid. Sorry. I mean, they're playing against an opponent. We have to talk about it because that's who they played. So, Wilson with some good things, Blake Watson with some good things, got to hang on to the ball. Lucas Kroll with the foot injury, some good and some bad with him. Obviously the fumble, and, Brandon Johnson making plays, Jalen Virgil making plays on returns, Marvin Mims with the play. Like, there's a lot to get to, but obviously it revolves around Bo Nix. He's already passed the eyeball test for me. I talked about that on Schlereth and Evans on Friday. Like, he's passed the eyeball test for me. In rookie minicamp, he looked like Oregon Bo. He was out there dealing. So am I surprised that he's dealing against second stringers? Not at all. He did get some time against the first team, and he didn't look out of sorts then. And that's when he was with the first team, is when he had the butterflies. I'm going to guess that, just again, being around Bo, he looked a little butterfly-ish. Anyway, so it looked like he might have had a little bit of nervousness. Who's to blame him? It's his first NFL game. He's wearing a Broncos uniform in a game for the first time. Like, it's exciting, even if it is the preseason. Like, I thought Bo Nix passed the eyeball test. What do you guys think? Again, I'll be going through the chat room, kind of doing a brain dump, and then, going from there, figuring out what kind of questions you want. Joe, was Bo worth it? Bo was always worth the pick. And I'm not saying Joe said this, but Joe and anyone else out there, if you're still hearing the crap about McShay had a 3rd round grade on him, or he's not the guy, or poor Russell Wilson, it's crap. There's a lot of bunk and BS in the media. A lot of media members do not know football. I've talked about this before. Again, most of them are my friends. There's some turds. Hell, maybe I'm a turd to some people. But, like, most reporters have no idea what they're looking at. And then just hear stuff of like, well, I already had a 3rd round grade. Well, I don't know who you're talking to, but Bo Nix was always worth the pick. Like, we saw that. We saw that guy out there getting people excited. I think that's the main thing. And again, it's preseason, so we'll temper our expectations. We will kind of just look and take everything with a block of salt, 10 blocks of salt. Yes. but he didn't look out of place. He looked like a franchise quarterback. He looked like a leader. He kept going to his guys. I'll bring up the Kroll fumble, which obviously was terrible. And, everyone started at me on Twitter, which is annoying because Twitter's mostly annoying. It's like, I don't need to, when Lucas Kroll does something good, you want me to tweet about it every time? Nobody does. So I don't need to hear it if he fumbles. But after that, Bo Nix went right back to him like twice for redemption. I did have to tell some people that were texting me on my phone. I was like, don't be a Dick Cheney when Kroll fumbles. Like, don't be a Dick Cheney. I don't need to hear that. Had a really, really rough week. And that's why I had to miss Thursday show. It's why I'll miss Friday show coming up. I won't talk about that right now. That's for another time. But for this game and this show, it's the Bo Nix show. And I don't really want to even see Jarrett Stidham out there with the starters anymore. Like, now is the time, based on what we've seen, to turn the page to Bo Nix, to then keep Bo Nix with that first team and just let him get everything from here on out. You've got joint practice with the Packers on Friday. You've got the game that Bo Nix is starting. Like, Bo Nix is the guy. He's the guy. He should be the starter. And I think a lot of you guys feel good about what Bo Nix is showing. I got to slow down when I say that. Either way, Ashton asks, should Vance be fired? Now, Vance should always be fired until he's fired. Mike says, hey, yo, everybody. Yeah, a win of the preseason, it feels good. Doesn't mean anything. You could win every game in the preseason. The year the Lions went 0-16, they won every game in the preseason. So, but a win feels good. Sean Payton said it on Friday, I believe. We got win underscored everywhere. Win underscore 3 times. Like, it's part of the culture, part of the expectations, and part of the fact of, like, you've got a quarterback now that can run the system. You've got a quarterback now that'll listen to his coach, that won't fight with his coach, that won't divide the locker room because he's awkward. Like, you've got the guy. So again, I don't want to hear anything about Russell Wilson. I don't want to hear anything about 6th quarterback and 12th pick and Todd McShay. Garbage. All of it's nonsense. It's time for Bo. It's time for Bo Nix right now. And it's time for Bo Nix to get everything from here on out with the first team, because you saw it. And when he did take off to run, there was one designed run. You saw Burton out there in front of him leading the way. That was cool. And he can tuck and run, and he can scoot. He can get out of his way. But when he decided to scramble, and there's a difference, of course, between a designed run and a scramble. But when Bo Nix scrambles, just like he does in practice, I don't lose my mind. 7-on-7 notwithstanding, I still don't like that. I think Coach was lying when he said it was okay. But either way, when he runs in a team drill, and watching Bo's head of where he's going and where he's looking, I know that he's exhausted all options as a passer. So when he does that, I'm not like, why is he running? No, he's running because he looked at the whole field. You saw him adjusting things to the line of scrimmage. There was one play, again, I'll have to go back and watch the game again, but where he was blitzed and he didn't check it as much as I thought he would, because he's done a good job of checking that. So, we'll see about that, and we'll see that continue. But again, he's a rookie. It's his first game, and he looked really good. And I was texting with my buddy Gabe, and he lives out in San Diego. He's a big Broncos fan. Grew up in Greeley, and he's a comic book artist. So I was texting Gabe, like, Bo Nix is the real deal, because he asked me, like, how's Bo gonna look? I said he's gonna look like the real deal. He's going to look like the game's not too big for him. He's going to process things quickly. He's going to tuck it and run sometimes. He's going to attack if you blitz him. So all those things with Bo Nix, and again, it's on him. This isn't about me and my pre-draft opinion, which was higher than others. It's not about anything that anyone that thinks in the media, whether they know football or not, and most don't. But still, like, it's about him. He's doing the work. He's getting the job done on the practice field, and you're seeing it taken to the football field. If you're lucky enough to watch a training camp practice, you've seen it. I've seen it. You've seen what he has done and will continue to do for this Broncos team. So it looks good. It looks like he's the guy. And I'm just at a point where I don't really want to Think about anybody else playing quarterback for the Broncos. Bo Broncos. I like that, Dennis. Rickus Rick says, Knicks look good. Yeah. Wes says trade Stiddy. Now, what would you get for him? Probably not much. But there is a cap savings. If we talk about cap savings, there is a savings to cutting Stidham and keeping Wilson. Honestly, I would prefer keeping all three. I'm not a huge Stiddy guy, and I'm not a huge Wilson guy. But the more arrows you have in your quiver, the more shots you can take at that dartboard, I think that's better for the Broncos. You want Bo Nix to stay healthy forever and ever and ever. But last year, 65 or more, I can't remember. Well, just say over 60. Over 60 quarterbacks started last year in the NFL. It was bad. It was really bad. There's a lot of bad football last year, but you need those quarterbacks. So trade Stidham. I mean, you get a 7th rounder for him. Is that really worth it? Or just keep him around? You save like $3 million if you cut him. And I wouldn't do that. I'd keep Wilson as more of a practice squad-ish, or even keep him active and just let him go through football rehab. He's got a long ways to go. And Zach Wilson should be tearing up third stringers. And that's exactly what he did. And Bo Nix should be tearing up second stringers. And that's exactly what he did. And he looked good against the first team, even when he was a little bit nervous. Again, my opinion, Bo's probably going to talk about it after that game. So Jermaine says this as well. The offense could punch back. What is it in Happy Gilmore when he's like, Happy learned how to putt, right? Like, Sean Payton has a quarterback who's going to listen and can actually run his offense. Yeah, all right. Listen, this team, God bless everyone that's not here that they replace, but Lloyd Cushenberry, Justin Simmons will be the tough one, Josie Jewell and Russell Wilson. You can replace those guys. Simmons will be the toughest, but like, I'm not really brokenhearted that there's no more Josie Jewell. Like, you can replace him. Cody Barton, Jonas Griffith, it's a fine replacement. Russell Wilson, it's better that you have a quarterback that listens. It's better that you have a quarterback that can run the system. That's Bo Nix. That's an upgrade. Lloyd in the middle at center. That's different. We'll see who wins. Forsyth looking better. Wattenberg. A little bit slower to some second level blocks, but I don't want to get too much in the minutia there. Wattenberg's been fine. Did have the fumbled snap from Bo, although I think that no, it wasn't Wattenberg or Forsyth. Somebody in the chat room tell me. But anyway, like 5.5 wins for Vegas is stupid. It's easily on the over. And, the Broncos with Sean Payton, provided that they have good health, because I think there's a lack of depth on the offensive line, especially. You can see that. But the offense being good and being robust and throwing up points, like, we haven't had that in years. They're not going to score 34 points on average during the regular season, but it was nice that when they needed to strike back, they could strike back, and they did just that. Again, 34-30, the final score. It's Denver Sports Postgame Live. I'm Cecil Lammey, and just kind of doing a brain dump here after the game. This is what I'll be doing every week after Broncos games. Wanted to get started in the preseason, a little bit of a warm-up thing. And I understand that it's very popular when I lose my mind on this show. I'm not going to do that because I'm happy with what the Broncos did. I think you should be happy with what the Broncos did. So if you've got questions about the game, ask them in the chat room here in our YouTube stream, and like and comment and all those sorts of things to help us out here as well. And Cornbread says, go Broncos. What a start with a win. Yeah, it feels good, man. It feels good. And that's also part of it. The Broncos need to earn your trust. The Broncos need to get you back believing for the future of this team. They don't do that by going out in the preseason looking like crap. They do that by going out in the preseason putting up a fight. They did that. It was good to see. And it makes you feel good, and that is part of it. Whether you like it or not, it's just preseason, whatever. Because if things were bad, there would be concerns there. There are still concerns. Blake Watson got to hold on to the ball. Lucas Kroll with the toe injury, and he's got to hold on to the ball. So, like, there's concerns there. This isn't perfect. Nobody's putting anybody in the Hall of Fame. Again, we're either going to have the conversation or we're not. And it's the preseason. We're going to have the conversation. Things look good. I think that's encouraging. I don't think it's fake news or false hope or whatever. What did Vic Fangio say? False positive, right? I don't feel what we saw from Bo Nix was a false positive because this is how he's looked the entire bit of training camp. This is how he's looked since rookie minicamp, where he was dealing. This is how he's looked since OTAs and mandatory minicamp, and I've been there every day. And so, like, now you say, all right, Bo, let's keep it up. What's next? Start him now. And Clayton in Facebook says, Bo Nix time. Absolutely love it. Yeah, of course. Yep. It is Bo Nix time. Bo looking comfortable. And then Mike brings up the most important thing. Bo is always better after a year in the system. His first game at Oregon wasn't good, and then he got better, and he looked good in his first year at Oregon. He looked excellent in his second year at Oregon. So get him to second year Oregon Bo Nix, but second year Denver Broncos Bo Nix. You're going to be really happy. You're going to be pushing for the postseason. You're going to be one of those teams like a Houston Texans last year, but you're going to be that next year. I don't plan on them being that this year, although I am still, again, my week was crushed last week, but during last week, I started writing an article about Bo Nix versus CJ Stroud. Like, what's it going to look like? That'll still be coming out. Life calms down a little bit. I'll get that at denversports.com. So, like, Bo Nix starting, and then next year, what's he going to be? Like, this year, we're going to see the bumps, but they're just bumps. They're just little speed bumps along the way in life and in football. And Denoise Boys says the eye test says Bo is better. And I think that's the greatest thing. I believe I said it earlier. But, like, the eye test for Bo Nix. We've seen it. The reaction on social networking of like, well, you're excited about Bo. Like, yeah. You're excited about practice. Yeah. You're excited about a preseason game. Yep. And I'm excited about a regular season game with Bo Nix as well. Like, just make him the starter, and then let's go, because he'll continue to get better. And that's the great thing about this game is you see the young players that kind of get it. The game's not too big for him. And then you go, wait a second, that's just him now. What's Bo Nix like 4 games from now? What's he like 14 games from now? What's he like 4 years from now? Does he already have a Super Bowl 4 years from now? Not to get ahead of myself, but that's where you go. Like, these guys can improve. Some guys are just who they are, and I think that's where Jarrett Stidham's at. I did ask Coach Payton about that at the coach's breakfast back in April, I think. April. And I said, hey, and about Jarrett Stidham, I was like, how do you know when a guy's got more potential, or that's just kind of who he is? And he said specifically to Jarrett Stidham, he said, we're not there yet. Are we there now? Because I think we're there now, right? Jarrett Stidham's just kind of that guy. He's fine. There's nothing wrong with Jarrett Stidham. But Bo Nix is the starter. Bo Nix is the better player. Bo Nix is the man. K-Dub asks about the wide receivers. Do you notice where Vele and Mims were playing? Mims on the cut bubble? No, but Mims needs a good preseason. He's not on the cut bubble whatsoever. He could suck in the preseason. He would not be on the cut bubble. But I've said this on the radio, so I'll say it here as well. Marvin Mims has been really frustrated, seeing a thrown helmet, like kicking at the ground. Like, he's just been kind of pissed off with his performance. I think disappointed. He's yelled at coaches. Coaches have yelled at him. He's yelled back. I think it was Johnny Moe that was yelling at him. And Mims just isn't taking that next step in practice. So to see him do that in a game, that was good to see, because he needs that. I'll bring up Jonah Ellis here in a little bit as well. But when we look at Marvin Mims, 2 of 17 for a touchdown, utilizing that speed, like that'll give the young man some confidence. I still believe in Marvin Mims. He needs to be a much better route runner. That's still not there yet, but we're early. Most wide receivers take 3 years to get going. So it's not quite the step you want in year 2, but this preseason game was good. I'd like to see Marvin Mims, continue to get better as training camp wraps up this week. And then as there's more preseason games played, I hope to see Marvin Mims get better there as well, because, well, that would be awesome. And that would be good for the Broncos, even though they got a bunch of trees. I was disappointed in Josh Reynolds. I mean, I have liked what Josh Reynolds has done, But if Bo hits that long one and it's a touchdown instead of going through his hands, basically, or whatever, a little bit of outstretched to where he was, I mean, that's a big play. That's another touchdown for Bo. So, the opportunity was there, and I like that. Didn't like the hospital ball that he threw for, who was that? The guy crushed, Greg Dulcich. So Greg Dulcich got kind of crushed out there on a hospital ball. So that's not great, Bob. So that wasn't great there. But overall, I like what Bo Nix was doing, even throwing off his back foot, even, handling the rush or handling the pressure. Like, that's what he does. And Mims needs to continue on with the good preseason. We'll see if he can do just that. And victory lap, my over on the 5.5, looking great right now. Yeah, I always thought that was a dumb line for Vegas. What do I know? I'm not a wise guy and I don't gamble. Sorry. I got a comic book company to run, so not a lot of money to gamble, but like, I think 5.5 wins, you take the over on that all day, because again, they stay healthy enough. Who are they really replacing? Simmons notwithstanding, because Justin Simmons is awesome, but Eric was at the game. Nice. Was at the game. Nix looked real sharp. Room for growth, but it was exciting. I think Eric hits it on the money right here. This is what everyone should be talking about with Bo Nix. Is like, it wasn't perfect. Kid had some mistakes. Again, hospital ball. He threw to Dulcich. Don't throw to that guy. Don't throw that pass to that guy. Fortunately, he's healthy. Lucas Kroll not healthy with this toe injury. And toe injuries are usually turf toe injuries. No official confirmation. And if it's turf toe, I mean, half the season will be done. Not you don't play done, but just like you're not yourself. Turf toe is really a crusher. Sorry, solo show. So I got to take a drink when I can. But room for growth is the thing that Eric brings up that I like the most, because you can see how his timing is good within the offense. He knows when to bail from the pocket. Again, 0 sacks. Like, that's pretty good. Pretty good for the Broncos out there. Clayton says using his legs and, man, his arm strength. Yep. Somebody on Twitter asked me, like, were the arm strength stuff overblown? I said, yes, there was so much lies and misinformation before the draft about Bo Nix. It was ridiculous. Now, does he have a Joe Milton arm? No. Does he have a Zach Wilson arm? No. I don't necessarily need him to have that arm, but it's strong enough to make all the throws. He was making back foot throws that were still getting there. Again, I don't like him throwing off his back foot, and that's not a habit for him. So, nobody worry about that, because I've seen people like, he's throwing off his back foot. He can do that. If the pocket's clean, he will step into his throws. He will use proper footwork. His footwork is, outside of his brain, perhaps his best asset, because his feet lead his eyes. You can say you're looking at a quarterback's eyes. No, look at his feet, because his feet will lead his eyes. Bo, I've said it before, Bo will be staring at the right side and his feet are setting up for the left, because he's going to turn and he's going to fire, and he's already going to have perfect mechanics. So it's not a problem that he was throwing off his back foot at times. Again, his arm's not a howitzer, but he can make every throw. There is no question that he can make every throw required in the pros. And that's the way it goes. J Road, Stidham is too conservative. Yeah. Stidham is just that's who he is. I've seen him take like one chance. I think it was on Wednesday. David Sills in the end zone. It was a high-low read. These are sale concepts, so I'm not giving too much away, but you have a high read and you have a low read, basically like an out route and a corner route. So you have a high-low read, and Stidham will take the low read 9 times out of 10. One time last week, I believe it was Wednesday, he actually took Sills, corner the end zone, touchdown, Broncos. I was shocked because I saw the play set up, as I've seen it set up multiple times, because sale concepts are common in a Sean Payton offense. So it's going to be corner, out, make a choice, or run. Sometimes there's a dump off on the same side of the field, depending on where your back's lining up if he goes out for a pass. And again, 9 times out of 10, Stidham will just take the safe stuff. But it's good to see when he does kind of throw it up there and go get it. Dylan says he loves Bo Nix. Love his Oregon Ducks. Dream come true. Favorite quarterback goes to my favorite team. Let's go, Denver. Dylan, congrats, man. Congrats. And Bo definitely has a strong support group from the fan base already. I like that. I like seeing that. And I like y'all jumping on board, not because you're desperate. You're kind of desperate, but not because you're desperate, because Bo is that guy. The kids say he is him, right? Bo is that guy. So jump on the bandwagon. If you're not, some of the reactions I was getting on social networking, like, don't give me hope. I'm not, I'm so nervous and I'm cautiously optimistic. That's fine. Although all those opinions are fair. The only opinions that are unfair and I think are stupid are the people that just like blindly hate the Bo Nix pick. That's just it's a bad look. It's not accurate. It's not the truth. Seek the truth and speak the truth. And the truth isn't meant to make you feel good. The truth of the matter is Bo Nix is the best quarterback here. And if you didn't like the pick, well, sit and spin because you're going to have to deal with this. He looks like he could be a starter for 10 years, maybe more. And that's what you love to see. That's exactly what you wanted. And you wanted this fit with Sean Payton. Again, maybe it looks different because I don't think J.J. McCarthy has that great of a fit with Kevin O'Connell. O'Connell wanting more of the Drake May rock and arm guy. Penix has a great fit with Zach Robinson. Jaden Daniels has a great fit with Cliff Kingsbury. Caleb Williams is just too naturally talented, even though Eberflus is trying to extend his job. Like, if you look at all the rookies, the best landing spot was Bo Nix and Sean Payton. So peanut butter and chocolate, whatever, toast and jam, whatever you want to say. Like, it's a really good combination. And Ashton also says Stidham could be an excellent backup quarterback for Bo. I like that Stidham, not that Zach Wilson wouldn't be, a guy that could coach him up. Even Bo's talked about how Zach will tell him some stuff about protections and coverages. So Bo learns from everybody. I would prefer, Ashton, I guess I would put it this way. I would prefer that Jarrett Stidham's the primary backup to Bo Nix because Zach Wilson will get a little wild. And I don't think your processor can be sped up. Now, Sean Payton disagrees with that. So, who the hell am I to disagree with that? But you don't usually see it. And I'm not saying Wilson has a slow processor. His feet do not lead his eyes. Like, he may see it, but he doesn't react to it because you have to react to it in a way where you're just naturally, fluidly changing your feet before you move your gaze to hold the defense. And Wilson doesn't do any of those things. He bird dogs everything. It's a scouting term, but he just stares right at his target. That's where I'm throwing, guys. Hey, look, I'm throwing right here. So I don't, I keep Wilson around as just that extra arm. He's got natural talent. He's got physical gifts. I'm worried about his processor. You want to speed that up. Again, he may see it, but are you fast enough to react to it the way Bo Nix is? So with Zach Wilson, it's like, all right, I would keep him as a backup and then have Jarrett Stidham as the main backup so Bo can help learn from a guy that's been in the league a while and hasn't, played up to his potential. Paul with the number one thing, stay calm in the pocket, let the play develop, look like a leader. All three perfect observations. Staying calm in the pocket's the biggest thing. He even took hits, stayed steady, let the play develop. There's sometimes long developing plays, and you've got to wait. What was the wheel route to Jaleel on the left sideline? Like, you can throw that a little early if you're flustered because it's setting up and starting to look like a screen. Once he bails and makes it a wheel, you've got to hold on to it just that extra couple of beats, and that means you're going to get hit. So Bo drops back. Jaleel's like there, and if he was flustered, he could have thrown it, and the screen pass is broken up or whatever. But he waited because he saw Jaleel make it a wheel, and he put it right in the honey hole, and it looked great. It was a great throw. The Josh Reynolds touchdown that wasn't a touchdown, that was in a honey hole. So you're seeing the ability to make bucket throws, honey hole throws, where on a wheel route, you're leading your back and it's over the turned back of a linebacker that's chasing in coverage, usually a linebacker. That's a great throw. That's a honey hole. You have a throw to Reynolds where you're putting it in a bucket where only he's going to get it or it's going to be incomplete. That's a honey hole. Honey hole isn't just between defenders. You can call it a bucket throw, whatever, but these are next level plays. These are plays that rookies don't make. Rookies don't make these plays. Bo Nix makes these plays. He's not a rookie. He doesn't look like a rookie. And yep, everyone, we seen it. That's right. Nicholas with one of the biggest ones here. We're converting third downs. How many times did this team get to third down? It was just like over. There's a punting competition. And what did they punt? Like twice? I'm not paying attention to the punter competition. That's more for Mace to do than me. But like, they couldn't even get the punters out there because they kept converting third downs. And for me personally, with the quarterback, and this is why the days of the week when they've had, the big plays or the third down days or red zone days, those are some of the most important days at training camp, because a quarterback's value and worth is going to come through when he's under duress. What does he look like? We're seeing that with Bo. He's very consistent. He's calm. He doesn't feel the rush. He doesn't see ghosts. He'll take a hit, but he'll make the throw. He understands the plays, patient with his plays developing. He doesn't bail on them too quickly. Russell Wilson would have gotten sacked like 4 times in this game. And I don't want to turn this into a bash Russ fest, but that's just, we have to talk about what happened and then present it as to here's what it looks like now. Because I said it on the radio. I said it on the radio. Like, the less I talk about Russell Wilson, the better. He's not here. Bo Nix is here. It's much better here. So whatever. But third down, red zone pressure. If you look at advanced data, that's the data I want to know. How is he on third down? Bo Nix is excellent on third down from college film. How is he under pressure? He was the number 1 quarterback in the FBS for yards per attempt at almost 10 yards, 9.6 yards per attempt under pressure. Caleb Williams was 3.6 yards per attempt under pressure. Spencer Rattler was like 3.7 yards per attempt under pressure. Rattler's advanced data was not good. I want to know third down. I want to know red zone. I want to know pressure numbers. Bo Nix is really good in the red zone, as evidenced by today and Oregon. Really good under pressure. And really good in the red zone. Really good red zone, third down pressure. That's what Bo Nix is really good at. That's why he could be a franchise quarterback. And that's why he should be the starter week 1. He's won the job. In my opinion, he's won the job. Doesn't mean he's going to get the job. And again, I'm not going to lose my mind. I know Mike Evans said it a month ago, which things change. There's new information. I don't think Evans would say that today. But Mike Evans did say, like, if Bo Nix doesn't start week 1, it's a disaster. That's not a disaster. But there's no reason to not start Bo Nix. The stage isn't too big for him. Sure, the guys like Jarrett Stidham, but Bo Nix is a leader, and they like him too. So, again, if things are close, just go with Bo. He's your future. Jarrett's not your future. And I don't even really think things are close. We saw him a week ago in practice separate himself. We're seeing this Sunday. So in the last 8 days, we've seen at least 2 instances, a great day of practice on a Saturday, and then the better preseason game where Bo Nix is separating himself. So this isn't even a conversation of like, well, it's close and Stidham's okay. Like, no, Nix is clearly better. It's the eye test. Everybody can see it. Sean Payton, this is the guy he wants to get to anyway. I said it on Coffee Break last week with Rachel of like, maybe Jarrett Stidham is safe because that's who he is. Or maybe Jarrett Stidham's safe because he just knows, like, don't screw it up and I'll be the backup. And he knows the competition really was never a competition because Bo Nix is a first-round pick and handpicked by this coach. And Sean Payton, with this offense, this team can win more games. More games, Nicholas. It was great to see that third down stuff. Yep. And Nick says, this year is this year, right, Nick? That's what I try to say to everybody. Nick's on the money here. It's like, this year's, whatever. We're going to watch the maturation of Bo Nix. We are going to see, I was going to put this out on Twitter, but again, Twitter is meaningless. If your value is placed on your social networking reaction or following, I feel really bad for you. I know there's people in the media where their whole identity is Twitter, and it just makes me feel bad because I'm like, oh, that sucks. um, okay, whatever. I was gonna put it on Twitter, but again, Twitter's useless. I was gonna say, like, we're going to say remember when. There will be a time with Bo Nix as the Broncos quarterback where we're gonna say, remember when? We don't have to go member berries, right? Remember Chewbacca? But like I feel so strongly about Bo Nix. There will be a time when I remember when, I remember that pass. It's David Sills, his rookie training camp, and he really took the leap. Like, I remember his opening press conference. Like, this could be the start of something great with Bo Nix. Again, not this year. Nobody's saying that. But the future for Bo Nix, the future for the Denver Broncos, it feels a lot better. Just, okay, what is it? 4 hours ago, before this game started, the future of the Denver Broncos seemed like an unknown. It seemed like, I don't know, how's Bo Nix look? Now it seems brighter. Again, I'm not saying Super Bowls, whatever. And I think I guess I'm in the mood today. I kind of am in the mood, even though I feel good about the Broncos. I'll say this. We can look at it through a negative lens, right? You can look at life through a negative lens. Well, I haven't got that raise yet or whatever. Well, I mean, it's just preseason. He hasn't done it in the regular season. He's just a rookie. Well, whatever. So we could do that, and that's an opinion. But I think that's a stupid opinion. And we could be all Pollyanna and like, this is the greatest and everything's great and let's go. And like, okay, that's a little much. And I feel bad because Broncos country is really, really smart. That's not what makes me feel bad. What makes me feel bad is there's media outlets that just feed to the fans the total fanboy stuff. It's like Nuggets media, which is like, everything's great. It's the greatest ever. Like, no, you can talk about things fairly, but still look at it through a positive lens. That's what I prefer to do. I want to look at Bo Nix and take what he did as good things. I don't need to be like, it's just preseason. Of course, he's not to the regular season yet. I anticipate that when we get to the regular season, Bo Nix will be the starter and he will have ups and downs and he'll have struggles, but he'll learn and he'll grow and he'll have big plays and he'll look good. And like, he'll look like Bo Nix, calm, confident leader. That's what we're going to see from Bo Nix because that's who he is. But I feel bad because there's outlets that they're not even trying to fool fans. They just try not to have an opinion. Everything's great. Bo Nix is the perfect everything. Like, that's unfair as well. So it's too propaganda-ish. Somewhere Brian's creeping in the chat room like, propaganda, just like the Nuggets. Yeah, okay. But I don't want to do that. I want to be excited about Bo Nix while being realistic about what's going to happen this year. They're going to learn. They're going to grow. They're going to win more than 5.5 games, Matt. Thank you, Matt. Look at Matt Smith. Blue collar all the way. That's why I appreciate Matt. God bless Bo Nix. You damn right. You damn right. Cornbread says Nix earned the first team reps from here on out. I think Fred, Justin, yeah. I'll read anything on the teleprompter. I think it wasn't perfect, but it was a really good first step. I'm not sure how, with reasonable expectations, it could have gone any better. I think that's the perfect way to say it. I actually, instead of doing 44 minutes of solo show, and I've got about 16 minutes left, I could have just said exactly what Fred said, because Fred sums it up perfectly. Wasn't perfect. Been in a first preseason game. How could it be much better? And I am going to write at denversports.com, Mile High Monday. I'm going to write today. But I'm also going to write my 3 observations from this game. And then I want to look at all the other rookie quarterbacks, the first rounders at least, and see how they did in the preseason and compare. I've watched most of the preseason games already. I've watched most twice already. I don't chart games in the preseason. I do that in the regular season for every team. So I've seen most every rookie quarterback, and I have notes on every first round rookie quarterback in the preseason. I'm going to add Bo Nix to that and put in an article for you at Denver Sports, and no damn paywalls. And we're not, the super fanboy site you don't have to worry about. You actually get, like real opinions and not just propaganda. So again, check it out, denversports.com. So that's going to be one thing that I examined. Like, okay, here's how he looked compared to, Drake May. Here's how he looked compared to Michael Penix. Penix was dealing in that game for the Falcons. Anyway, so that'll be coming up. Denoise back says the eye test. Yep, it's the eye test. Nix has poise. Yep, Harry with the good one here. Stidham also is happy to check down for 4 yards on a 3rd and 18 every time. It's fine to punt, but that's Stidham. He'd rather have Zach. What do you think? Chat room, let me know. Comment this side. Is it this side? Which side is it? Whatever side it is. Comment. And if it's good, I'll bring it up in the chat. And hopefully I get to all your comments here. About 15 minutes left on the show. And I don't know if Mace is going to be able to join me, but I did. We'll see if he's got time at Indy there. Oh, Wes. Yeah, I heard about that. Would have nice to watch him play a game, but was blacked out on all streaming markets in Denver. YouTube. There's always ways. Like the stupid thing with Altitude where they don't show their games locally. Like, just go on YouTube. There's no like, I have to go to this website and this, download this, whatever. Like, no, just go to YouTube. Somebody's streaming it on YouTube. So you can find it there. I had heard about that a little bit, but I was able to watch it watching it from home here in the mountains. So, oh, Roy. Thank you, Roy. You don't always get good comments. So thank you, Roy, very much. Thanks for your gut reaction after the game. I'm sure I'm saying this on behalf of all your viewers. I just like the brain dump. We've talked about this post-game show and, what I can do. And I'm like, I just like to talk about what happened. And I like doing radio shows solo. That's always been kind of my thing. Although I've had some good co-hosts along the way. So I just appreciate people for watching here and helping us grow our YouTube channel. Now over 13,000 subscribers. We need about 3 more before the end of the year, 3,000 more before the end of the year. So if y'all can help me out, that would be great as I kind of run the Denver Sports YouTube channel. Let's see. Dylan, more in the chat room. Real game, real players. Preseason or not, the pressure is real. Damn straight. Dylan's on the money because it is the preseason, but guys are playing for jobs, and there is an air of desperation. Mason and I talked about it a little bit on the pregame show. Now with only 3 preseason games, there's an air of desperation that you don't normally get. You don't normally get during the first preseason game when there was 4. As someone who in this closet right there has a bunch of comic books, but I also have a bunch of videotapes and CDs or DVDs, excuse me, and then some hard drives of every preseason game from the year 2000 till now. And then most of it's digital now, but a lot of old stuff is still on video cassette. I also have every regular season game, not preseason, but regular season from 1992 until now. So kind of a nerd, kind of love watching football. So like when you see the pressure, it's real. These guys have this desperation. Like in the preseason, the first game used to be kind of like, kind of boring. And your second game was now like your first game is. And then your third game was your dress rehearsal. And it was basically like a regular season game. And then the fourth game didn't matter. In fact, of all the games I have for preseason, every preseason game, every team from the year 2000 till now, I have no 4th preseason games and I have no Hall of Fame games because you usually don't see anything. But you do see budding stars. You do see players on the rise. You get to see your Jaleel McLaughlin's early. You get to see your CJ Anderson's early. All the players that you love that come out of nowhere. Well, they don't. They come from the preseason where the pressure is real, as Dylan says. And now I think because there's only 3, it's ramped up to 11 because now it's more desperate. So guys are going to make more plays. Guys are going to strip the ball. Guys are going to hit you a little harder. Guys, you're going to take that shot. So there you go. Fantastic Dak. Fanatic Dak, sorry. Reading. Nix is a quarterback 1. Start the clock. Yep. You operate the clock, move the ball, put them in scoring position every time. 60% of the time, it works every time. Harry, sold on Nix. Eye test was aced. Randy says, aside from some sloppy turnovers, Bo and the offense look really solid overall. Haven't seen the Broncos punt so little in a game in such a long time. Yeah, George, we scored more than 17. There you go. Way to go, Broncos. That's good. There's nothing wrong with being excited about this team. It's moronic to be sky is falling, everything sucks, this isn't as good as Russell Wilson. That's just moronic. Just morons everywhere. If you're saying that. There's also morons everywhere if you're saying like it's a Super Bowl time. Like, no, it's a building time with a guy that gets it. And I think that's the most exciting about the Broncos is you have a guy that gets it at quarterback and you can build with him and you can grow with him. And that's why it looks good. Broncos country wants Nix. Yeah. Nobody wants Jarrett Stidham as the starter. Sorry. If Nix looked a little different, and let's say he threw a pick six or whatever, or 2 pick sixes, and he just looked a little off, and oh man, terrible game for Bo Nix. You still believe in him, whatever. But you're now saying more Jarrett Stidham's guy. Bo Nix has looked better. For a week, he's looked better. For a week, he separated himself. He wasn't that way at the start of training camp. Before a week, he had separated himself. Pierce says this, Bo looks like a polished Drew Lock, where Stidham looks like Teddy Bridgewater. Zach Wilson looks at my mom. All those jokes. I'm sure Zach is perfectly fine with all of them. He looks way better than Drew did. Again, I like Drew. I like his family. But Drew never looked like this. Drew couldn't read the defense like this, not this fast. And Drew's feet never led his eyes. And I talked to Andy, his father, after the first week of the preseason when he was a rookie. And he's like, what do you see? And I was like, got to clean his feet up. Got to clean his feet up. They did in Seattle, which is good, but you still see some bad habits now with the Giants. With Bo Nix, you don't have any of that. So polished Drew Lock. Lock had a stronger arm, and he didn't process as fast as Bo. You can't rattle Bo. Drew, you could rattle. So I'll agree about the Teddy stuff, although I'd like Teddy more than Jarrett, but still, like, I don't think he looked like a polished Drew Lock. I think he looks like a young Tua Tagovailoa or a young Jared Goff, where he's just on top of it. He's not rattled. He sees the field well, stuff like that. Matthew says, jerseys look good to me. And Bo looked good. Definitely looked better with him on the field. Yeah, jerseys are fine. Jerseys are fine. Perfect for the offense that Bo was cool. That's right. Kenner, Bowman saying that. Vinny, coaching was fantastic. I'm sure Sean Payton's a lot happier now. That's a total guess. I totally am just guessing that Sean Payton is happy because Russell Wilson's not here. That's a total guess. And happy Broncos victory Sunday from a man, Detroit, Mission Control. That is exactly right. About 7 minutes left. Go through some of your questions. If you want to know that Jonah Ellis played really good football, he looks like a gamer. He'd had some ups and downs, but again, it's, Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? The nice thing about Jonah Ellis is early on in training camp, I was like, ooh, because at rookie minicamp, he looked good. Mandatory minicamp, he was okay. Beginning of training camp, it was rough. And then again, about a week ago, Jonah started to get a little better. Still rough spots. He'd still get washed out of plays. As a run defender, he's got a lot of work. You're not asking him. You ask him to rush the passer. But now you see him in a game and you see what Jonah Ellis can do. So I like to see that. Again, preseason, we'll see. But I thought Jonah Ellis looked good and looked more like a gamer, and it's good to see that momentum. Similar, although Jonah had a better game than we saw from Marvin Mims, although Marvin Mims had the touchdown. But similar to the way, like, Mims hasn't been good in practice. He needed a good game. He had a good game, so good. Jonah Ellis has looked up and down in practice. Had a good game. Let's put a pin in that one. See what it does there. Cornbread's pumped about that offense. Yep, Stephanie saying look good, growing pains and nerves. I think early on he had some nerves. He just kind of worked through it, and then he was comfortable, and that's Bo. That's what Bo is. And then Ashton says, can you give one good and one need improve for Bo Nix? I still want to see him do better work from under center. Fumbled snap's not good. So want to see it because he evacuated the pocket. He evacuated the center before he had secured the ball. It did rub against Wattenberg's leg. So, and Wattenberg was moving to his left on a play action play. So Wattenberg was trying to get out of the hole. So he snapped it and it was kind of like on the side or whatever. So if you want to blame Wattenberg, whatever, but it's on Bo. Ball hits you in the hands. You got to secure it, whether you're a receiver or quarterback taking a snap. So under center, I'd like to see Bo Nix improve on that. And good, there's more than one good. There's more than one good. There's a lot of good with Bo Nix. And I'd say the number one is just the calm under pressure. Checking in from 117 degrees weather in Arizona. Move to Colorado, David. Arizona's fine. I got nothing with Arizona. I don't think I do. Anyway, but Colorado, we live in a postcard, man. We live in a postcard. I think of that when I drive home and I see the mountains because I live in the mountains. And yeah, we live in a postcard. It's good, 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 good. Mike, this is the most important thing. We can stop looking for the quarterback of the future. He's the guy. He's the guy. Start him. Let's go, Bo. 1,000%. Matthew, Bo looked good. So did Wilson. Wilson did look good. Wilson's not pushing for the starting job, though. Orange Crush. Bo Nix rookie cards. I hope so. I tell my buddy James at All C's, like, I'd probably stash some of those Bo Nix cards. I'd sell them because you're not a museum when you're a card store. But I would take some of those Bo Nix cards and I'd put them away. I remember when we moved here in the Roxborough in 2018, I was going through my old sports cards and I had a Bowman Tom Brady rookie card. And I'd had it since I busted the pack. I remember pulling it out and be like, Tom Brady. Oh, that's a Michigan guy that couldn't beat out. What's his name? Drew Henson. And so I just like put it in a box, whatever. So back then in 2018, that was about a $60 to $80 card. I sold it on eBay. It's like a $700 card right now. That's ungraded, by the way. It's probably more. It might be $1,000. But yeah, so that Bowman Tommy Brady, sure, I got my $60 or whatever, but I would have had more. I wish I would have busted more of those Bowman cards to get more of them Tommy Brady's back in the day. Howie says Garrett was getting cooked. We got some offensive line things to clean up. I believe in Zach Strief. I believe he'll do that, but the offensive line wasn't as clean as it needed to be. And, that was part of like, get Bo in phase one, because then he'll work with the starters and he'll have better protection. Yeah, I mean, I hope he'd have better protection. That didn't actually happen. Holy diver. A lot of positives and looked really good in my humble opinion. And John says, want to see it. And this is exactly right. And what I put out on Twitter, again, realm of the lowest common denominator, is I want to see more. That was really good against some of the first team and then really good against the second team. I just want to see him against the first team, and let's go, Bo. Start him week 1. Seattle's a tough place to play. Yeah, no kidding. It's the NFL. Pretty much everywhere is a tough place to play. They're super loud. Yeah. What are you going to do? Just not play him when you go to Seattle? I know you've been playing for 5 years, Bo, but Seattle is pretty tough. Throw him in. Throw him in the fire. What's everyone all scared for? About, you put a rookie out there. Yeah, put a rookie out there. Hey, rookie, go learn. You know what Bo Nix is? He's the smartest guy on the team. Hey, guy that's really smart, go up against something tough and learn. That's exactly what he's going to do. You're not going to crush his spirit because, Seattle, Mike McDonald making a statement at home. Like, no, play him against them. Play him week 1. And again, I'm not going to lose my mind, although I'm getting a little mad right now. These post-game shows are always a journey. I'm not going to lose my mind if he doesn't start week 1, but why would you start Jared Stidham? Like, why? Oh, he's safe. Okay, I don't want to be safe. I want to be dangerous. And, that's what Bo Nix can bring to the field. Dave didn't notice any of those 3 and outs. Exactly. Yeah, I was like, 3 and outs. That was like, what? Huh? That was interesting. Jay Raid, Broncos may need to pick up another tight end. It's possible. There's some practice squads I would raid. There's some players that I would pick up, actually. One right now, and I think he might have had a touchdown in their first preseason game, if memory serves, because he's a player that I've liked since he was a quarterback at Buffalo. And which game was that? I'm trying to think. Tyree Jackson. I think he had a touchdown. I'm just going to check real quick. But he's the type of player, like, if you do need a tight end, I go get a Tyree Jackson, who's with the Giants now. And even though the Giants have their problems at tight end, because of Darren Waller retiring, like, he is their like 6th tight end. So yeah, you may be saying, well, what's going on there? 6th tight end. Why are you excited, Cease? He's 6'7", 250. And if there was ever a Logan Thomas, and I saw Logan Thomas at the Senior Bowl, I think I saw Tyree Jackson at the Shrine Bowl. They were both quarterbacks. And I remember a very well-named, and he's a friend of mine, so I won't say his name, but I remember a friend of mine in the draft, a big-name draft analyst, who was like, Logan Thomas can throw the rock. And I was like, no, he can't. And not that I'm right on everything. But if there's that sort of like end of the bench tight end that you could throw out or wait till he gets cut, basically, Tyree Jackson would be on my list because he's huge. And as a former quarterback, you know the soft spots in the zone. You know how to come back to the ball. You know how to be a quarterback's favorite target. So they're out there, you know. I know some fans would be like, bring back Alberto. Like, can't block. Anyway, I'm over an hour. Bo Nix, Bo Flex. I like that. Yeah, Randy, defense didn't look as impressive. Who's going to be a premier pass rusher? They might not have one. I was texting with a buddy of mine who's in California. Shout out Mark. And he was like, where's the pass rush? I'm like, it just may not happen. It may have to be a rotation of guys. So instead of having one like 15 sack guy and then a couple like 9 sack guys, you may just have a cluster of like 5, 6, 7, 8 sack guys, but you have like 4 of them. That may be what happened. We haven't seen an alpha emerge. Cooper's been kind of brutal in practice, like brutal for the offense. Cooper's been really tough to deal with, but I don't see Coop as that 15 sack alpha guy. I see Coop as like really solid, 5, 6, 7, 8 sacks. He's that guy. And he's been a problem at training camp for the Broncos offensive line. So that's good from Coop, but Browning's supposed to be the alpha, and he hasn't taken that step. Doesn't mean he can't. Sacks come in bunches, but yeah, that was a concern. That's for sure. Let me see. Oh, hey, Carrie's in the chat room. Hi, Carrie. That's my sister. How's it going? Let's see. Knicks look good. Everyone's saying Knicks look good. Stiddy didn't look too good. Stiddy looked like Stiddy. You know. Here, I'm ready to give him the keys of the city. Yep. K-Dub. I had butterflies just watching Bo. I had a little bit too, right? Just excited for the kid. Want to see him do good things. He's a really good young man. He's all about ball. And you love to see that. That's for sure. Knicks look good. Stiddy looks safe. Yep. Exactly. And it looked good after he settled down. West again, trade city, keep Wilson. I don't know what you get for Jarrett Stidham. Probably not a lot. Colin says, genuine optimism is refreshing. And this is an important point. Back to me ragging on the propaganda in the media, but like genuine optimism. Because we could be reporting, and a lot of reporters are friendly with the team so that they can play the access game. Broncos won't let you talk to this guy unless you're being friendly with them. They don't want you being a jerk out there, and you shouldn't be if you're a professional. But too many people play the access game. We're like, everything's perfect. Everything's great. We love everything. Woo. Just tell the truth. But having genuine optimism, like this isn't optimism of like, we're saying Bo's the guy, and then you guys watch him, and then like, nah, Bo didn't look real good. No. We're saying Bo's the guy, and you're seeing Bo's the guy. And it's genuine. Colin, I'm going to steal this line from you. I'll give you a quarter every time I say it. But the genuine optimism is refreshing because it's not fake. It's not Russell Wilson fake. It's not fake hope, fake hype, fake, oh, it's just the preseason. Like, no, there's something here. Maybe Bo Nix will just be the number 12 quarterback in the NFL ever. And he's never going to climb higher than that. But maybe he could push for being a top 5 quarterback. Maybe. I'm not predicting it, but maybe. And we saw glimpses today. And I think that is the best thing. Phil, predictions on previous messy seasons. Yeah, or what other people tell him. I don't think anyone would trade for Stidham. Wardell, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing well, brother. It's been rough this week, but I appreciate everyone in the chat room. That's for sure. Harry says expectations rose from 5 to 7. I got him at 9. And I'm not crazy, and I'm not a Broncos fan. And I don't know why that doesn't set well with some people, but like you shouldn't be a fan when you're reporting on the team. Bo gonna have the critics eating crow. That's right. Impressed with Sean Payton. Yep. And then Mike, it's how we bounce back from the Kroll fumble. So you had some hiccups along the way, and you were able to bounce back. I'm awake live. I love you, Cecil. Well, thank you, Gordon. I appreciate that. Zay, want to know is important. More importantly, Bo looked good. That's the thing. Bo looked good. And then this, James, you should look this way. It is the preseason. It is second stringers. He should look like this, and he did. That's a good sign. So I think all of these are positives. Sniper says, what's good? What's good, man? Broncos being good. So that's good. And then this one, we got our guy, Orange Crush. And Steve is a friend, Steve Levy. So I'll just give him a little bit of crap. I won't, not throwing him under the bus, but Steve, it's 5280. Steve is one of the best ones. And again, he's a friend, but during the broadcast, I thought Ryan Harris was amazing as always. Fantastic, I should say, because I think that's his favorite word. But Steve Levy was like, that 5280 on the front of the helmet's really good. Steve, have a fat tire, and it's called 5280, buddy. Okay. I just thought it was funny because I've never heard anyone being like 5280. 5280. Thank you. Knicks looked amazing. I love that. Ashton, thank you, man. Thank you. For sure appreciate that. I missed on Thursday. And then I will be missing Friday's practice with my best friend's son was killed in a car accident on Wednesday night. So like a nephew to me at 18 years old was killed this last week. So it's been really, really tough. So I appreciate everyone out there. I didn't really want to talk about it because I don't want to get too emotional, but I appreciate the kind words and the sentiments and yes, the prayers, which are positive thoughts. They do help. So please just pray and pray and pray. Because you should never lose your child. And your child should never go before you. So before I turn into a puddle of tears, I better wrap up the show. But appreciate everyone out there. Appreciate everyone for watching. And then we're going to bring you the best Broncos coverage. Bar none. No paywalls, nothing like that. All we ask is that you help us out. A couple of ways you can do that is you can subscribe to our Denver Sports Daily, hot and fresh to your inbox every single morning, Monday through Friday. It's the Denver Sports Daily with all the Denver sports news. Yes, even that news. I mainly do Broncos, pretty much only do Broncos. I do some draft stuff as well. And then, of course, the other way that you can help us out is help us out on YouTube. About 52% of you are subscribed and 48% of you aren't subscribed. So almost half, Eddie, of our watchers now are not yet subscribed. So if you love the show and you love Denver sports and you love Mark Schlereth, because who doesn't love Mark Schlereth other than Jets fans? Because they don't love anybody. But like, yeah, just for sure, help us out that way. And we certainly appreciate that. Certainly appreciate what y'all do and giving the kind words, right? Because I said this to a friend the other day. It's from David Foster Wallace, who I think was the greatest author in the 90s, of like, you never know what someone else is going through. So lead with kindness in whatever you do, because that person that cut you off in traffic and you think they're the worst person ever, maybe their son just broke their arm at a softball game and they're trying to get him to the emergency room. You know, like, you never know when someone is being contrary with you. Like, you don't know what anyone's going through. So just lead with kindness, and that's what I would say is the way I'll wrap up this show. Lead with kindness, love everybody that's worthy of your love, and be a good person. That's it. No division, all this stupid stuff that we get distracted by, none of that stuff. Just be a good person. Let's go Broncos. Help us out on YouTube. Like, it's all pretty simple, everybody. But anyway, I do appreciate the kind words and all that. We'll be back with Orange and Blue today, coming up tomorrow. So there's that. And just appreciate y'all. I'm Cecil Lammey saying thanks for watching. Stay tuned and stay frosty.